Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak that's set to release on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC next summer. And that's the fact that director Suzuki took to Twitter to provide us with a brand new weekly update. We haven't necessarily gotten any major ones in the past few weeks, but this week we certainly got something extremely interesting. And that's the fact that he went and revealed that there's going to be brand new control options when Sunbreak is finally set to drop. So for right now, they're just showcasing Nintendo Switch control schemes. So presumably this is just going to be going over the Nintendo Switch options. Obviously on PC, they're probably going to be adding and changing a couple of things as well. So first and foremost, the Japanese Twitter post actually reads, "I am Suzuki, the director. We're also working on the options," and then they go ahead and attach a brand new image, which is providing us with all the information that we need. Now, thankfully, the North American Twitter account for Monster Hunter went ahead and posted a similar tweet, and it reads as follows: "Hello everyone, we've been working on the in-game options lately for Sunbreak. From Suzuki, Sunbreak's director. And this time we actually have the same shot in the same menu, but we're now seeing everything translated into English because presumably this is the English build." Now, first and foremost, before we even get to the options or anything along those lines, we have to take a look at the screenshot because, of course, what we're seeing here is the very first screenshot, first and foremost, of the game itself. So this is how it's actually going to look in game. This is not a trailer. Trailers are not usually representative of what the gameplay is going to be like. So this is actually a screenshot of the game running on a pre-build, or obviously a Switch developer unit at the very least, showcasing us something to consider. And first and foremost, what we're looking at here is the ship. So of course this is going to be the ship that you're going to be riding from presumably Camera Village to Elgato. And we know this because in the trailer shot that we get with the Luna Garen trailer reveal, we also get the same shot of the ship on that same left side, not on the right side, but it looks pretty much the same. And on the left side of the screenshot, we also get to see like waters and like craggy areas and stuff like that. So definitely this does not seem to look like anything nowhere near Camera Village. Presumably this is somewhere on the Elgato dock or anything along those lines. I don't think you're anymore in Camera Village, but in fact you're in the other side of the continent. So, you know, this is where you're going to be exploring your way out from. Now, of course, the star of the show isn't the information in the options that we're actually seeing. So on the left side, you're going to see the game settings, controls, camera, gyroscope, audio, save data, and display. These are the same option settings that you're going to have typically in Monster Hunter Rise. That has not necessarily changed. Now, the option selected is in the controls menu, and this is all the way at the bottom of the page. And we're going to be able to contrast this with the menu options that we have on the Nintendo Switch right now, which I'll be showing and contrasting in just a second. But we get to see here the radio menu settings. This is set to type 1. The D-pad controls are set to action bar. The L button plus A or B or X or Y controls are set to the item bar. The L button plus the D-pad controls are set to the shortcut menus. The L button or the right controls are set to the radio menu controls. The minus controls are set to type 1. The Wyvern riding controls are set to R. Buttons for Wyvern riding are set to either attack or A. Start menu navigation is set to type 1. And the start menu cursor position is set to reset. Now, when you start to contrast this with the menu options that we have for the Nintendo Switch right now, you start to notice the differences and the brand new additions that we did not have before. Now, working our way from the bottom up is when you start to see the changes. And the first one you're going to be seeing is that the start menu navigation is actually moved up because we have a brand new option called start menu cursor position that is set to reset. Presumably this is going to have different toggles, and it's simply just going to give you the option to have, whenever you start your start menu, whenever you go into your options, you're going to be able to preset it to have it in any one of the different tabs that you do get whenever you start the menu. So that's going to be changing first and foremost. Now, the other brand new change you're going to see added here is actually the buttons for Wyvern riding. And it says either it can be toggled to attack, and or A, and presumably you're going to be able to choose whatever button you want it to have. We already have wyvern riding controls with R, but now you're going to be able to choose the option for what button you want to be able to set for wyvern riding. So that's definitely another addition that they're going to be bringing into the game. Now, these are very small changes ultimately in the grand scheme of things, but it does seem to be that they are listening to feedback. A lot of people had complained that wyvern riding controls were a little bit finicky on their end. They were not necessarily too happy with it. We have seen that PC players, due to keybinds, have been requesting a whole heck of a lot of changes to the controller and like keyboard support, I guess, because they are not necessarily too happy with that. Although when you plug in a controller to your PC, you have pretty much the same scheme that you had on the Nintendo Switch. That has not necessarily changed. In fact, there's a few additions as well in that. They're not all that great, but you know, they're definitely better to have options than not to have them. And it seems like with Sunbreak, they're now trying to work even more features into the game when it comes specifically to controls, which is always good. I also think this is just the beginning, because we're also seeing the menu being fully displayed, and there's several changes when it comes to like game settings that they can actually add. We've talked about before when the PC version received the filters. This is an easily feature that they could bring over to the Nintendo Switch and add those filter options as well. Now, they're not necessarily have been all that big of a hit on PC. I've not seen a lot of people taking advantage of them as of right now, but for sure, if that option can be brought over to the Nintendo Switch, those filters being added into the game settings option will definitely bring in a brand new flair for that audience as well. Camera tweaks and changes as well could surely be added in, especially when you're using the Kahoot, toggling whatever buttons you want to use for the Kahoot so you can have easier access to it. So you want to take pictures of your character faster than you already do so right now. That's certainly another couple of changes that they could bring in to the camera options as well. Gyroscope options is another thing that they can certainly tweak. They could certainly make them more responsive and, you know, give you more options and toggleables as well as there. And lastly, I think audio additions are always a good thing. The Nintendo Switch does seem to have a lot of limitations when it comes to audio settings, when it comes to like surround sound stuff. So if they could certainly, you know, go the extra mile and do that for users, especially OLED users with those brand new speakers, they can certainly go a long way as there. PC already has a ton of features when it comes to those kind of things, so adding those to Switch will certainly go a long way. Now, I did see a couple of posts already speculating that this could perhaps be a dragon ship. You know, if you played any of the like older games, you know that dragon ships were the ones that you would hop on to be able to go hunt like monsters like Jan Moran and stuff like that. That is not the case. Like I mentioned at the top of the video, that was one of the reasons why I want to talk about the ship first, is to make sure that people understand that this is the ship that you see in the trailer, not necessarily a dragon ship. It does not look like that at all. It does not have cannons mounted on the side or anything like that. This very much seems like the type of ship that Ron Dean has, which is not geared for like combat at all. It's very much geared for like trading or like, you know, passage, but not necessarily for war, which is like what those dragon ships were for. Very much dedicated for combat, and that is not what we're seeing here. So that's all the information that I wanted to go over today. I'm glad that they're finally adding some brand new options to the game, and hopefully Sunbreak information begins to trickle out a little bit faster than usual, because I know a lot of people are waiting for more details. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive the notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.